What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this really quick review of Married at First Sight, Season 15, Reunion Part 1. What is wrong with Justin? Why is Justin acting up? What is going on with him? This is crazy. Okay, so Justin starts exchanging words with Nate about social media and Justin blocking and unfollowing everybody on the cast. And Justin said that he unfollowed Nate because he said that Nate was being two-faced and fake, because during the show, when I guess Justin was trying to bond with Nate, Nate didn't give him the time of day. And I don't know if Justin was seeking advice from Nate to help him out with his issues with Alexis, and Nate gave him the cold shoulder or whatever. But when Nate got, according to Justin, when Nate had gotten overly involved with Morgan and Ben, which is funny because if anybody was overly involved with Morgan and Ben, it was Justin and Alexis. But because Nate had given advice that one time to Morgan and Ben, Justin saw that as him being two-faced. Like, you don't want to help me, but you want to help them. And then they started exchanging words on stage, and I don't know what the hell was going on. Next thing I know, Justin gets up, takes off his jacket, and he starts walking up to Nate like he wanted to fight. And, Nate was like, this is stupid, because Nate knew that if he got up, it would have been on and popping. So he stayed seated the whole entire time. And Justin is trying to flex and trying to act like he's big and bad. And, he's the kind of guy that would get into a fist fight. And I'm thinking to myself, Justin, did you read the comments online about people, talking about how soft you are, people talking about how much you cry, and people talking about how Alexis has completely emasculated you, how Alexis is the one that wears the pants, and Alexis is going on and on about you not being dominant enough for her, and she wants a man that is more dominant, more in control. Is that what got you all up in your feelings yet again, Justin? And here you are on this stage trying to act like you're tough and you're big and bad. You want to start a fight with Nate over social media. For real, Justin? So I was just like, he's really trying to prove to the world that he's not the big crybaby that he portrayed himself to be, and that, he wasn't as soft as Alexis made him out to be. So that whole thing was ridiculous. Okay, so anyways, let's go down the list. Miguel and Lindy, I don't give a damn what anybody says. I don't care what Kevin Frazier has to say, because Kevin Frazier was trying to make it look like he was trying to make it look like Miguel and Lindy were like the it couple of the season. Miguel and Lindy absolutely frustrate the hell out of me. I cannot stand Lindy. I just cannot stand that woman. And the funny thing is, when the show started, when the season began, I thought she was adorable. I loved them as a couple. I thought that they were really good for each other. But as the show went on and I got to see her more and more, and she really revealed who she really was, she turned me all the way off. And I don't know why, but like everybody thinks that Miguel was emotionally abusive to Lindy, and I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Because I have seen Miguel like literally flinch when Lindy gets into her moods and she starts yelling and screaming and cussing him out. I have seen him kind of like flinch a little bit because he's just so caught off guard by her over the top reactions whenever she gets upset about insurance, or whenever she gets upset because he tells her that, she's being a negative Nancy, or when he tells her, that I don't like it when you get distracted when I'm trying to talk to you. I don't see anything wrong with Miguel pointing that out in Lindy, that, he has an issue with her being too negative. He has an issue with her being distracted. He has an issue with her, what was it? Her emotional outburst. I don't see that as him being emotionally abusive. If he was emotionally abusive, I missed it. I don't think it's emotionally abusive for him to want his wife to take on his last name. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that ultimately it's the woman's right to decide. I don't think it should be a deal breaker for the man if his wife will not take his last name. Now, if you're going to make it a deal breaker and you're going to see this as some kind of a disgrace, or you're going to take this like to heart that she's going to take your last name, okay, then we got issues. But Lindy herself said that after they finished recording the show, they didn't even talk about her changing her last name. It wasn't even a topic of discussion anymore. She said that she decided to do that on her own, and she surprised him with her social security card when she did finally take on his last name, but she did hyphenate it. So I don't think it was emotionally abusive. I don't think it was emotionally abusive for him to say, well, I'm not going to put you on my insurance unless you change your last name. Was it immature? Yeah. But I don't think it was emotionally abusive because, girl, then this is not the man for you. If he's going to be like, look, when you get sick, or if you get hurt, you're on your own. I'm not putting you on my insurance because you want to change your last name. Then just this isn't the guy for you. But I don't consider that being emotionally abusive. I don't know. But anywho, she ended up changing her last name anyway. She hyphenated and he was cool with that. But she made it seem like it was no longer a big deal to him. That's how she made it seem like, oh, we never talked about it after that. And Kevin Frazier asked her, so what about all your little idiosyncrasies that Miguel had an issue with? Your negativity, your outburst, and all of that. And she kind of downplayed that, kind of like, that's just who I am. I'm more interested in, being, I don't know what she says. She says some spirituals. I don't know. She said something like, I'm more interested in making myself be a better person or connecting with my inner self or whatever the hell she said. I don't know. But as far as all those things that Miguel had an issue with, she said basically the way I interpret it, she's not going to change. She's like, I'm not going to change. That's just who I am. And Miguel was like, that's just who she is. And I'm just going to have to learn to accept it, or, like he's not expecting her to change. So the fact that he wants you to have more control over your emotions, and the fact that he wants you to be a little bit more positive, and that when y'all are having conversations, he wants you to pay attention, that is bad, that he wants those things. He's trying to change who you are, because Lindy, if that's who you are, then I am completely justified in not liking you. I am completely justified in not liking you, because I'm like, why are those things okay? But Miguel and Lindy, I don't see it. I don't care what Kevin Frazier says about them being the it couple, everybody rooting for them, the attraction between them. I have yet to see the attraction between Miguel and Lindy. It's definitely there, obviously, for Stasha and Nate. I even saw it a little bit with Mitch and Kristen. I don't see it with Miguel and Lindy. I do not see it for them. Absolutely not. I think that he is, I mean, she's obviously the one with the more dominant personality, and it's kind of like her way or no way. So if Miguel likes it, I love it, I guess, but I never thought that they were the it couple. I didn't think that they were good for each other. I'm just really disappointed that they ended up staying together. And I've never felt that way about any couple. I have never felt that way about any couple. I don't know why Lindy just makes me just have such a visceral reaction to their union. I just really don't like Lindy. Moving on from there. Mitch and Kristen. So Kristen wants to front and act like if Mitch would have said yes, she would have said no. Who are you fooling, Kristen? There's no way in hell that Kristen would have said no if Mitch would have said yes. Because if that's the case, then Kristen, my love, why in the world would you say that you would keep the door ajar for him if you absolutely did not want to be with him? So why would you keep the door ajar for him? And not only keep it ajar, but you even said out of your own mouth that you had hope that maybe y'all could, reconnect again, like on a romantic level, that maybe in the future things would work out between the two of you. But then you want us to believe that if he would have said yes, you would have said no. Girl, please. She would have turned cartwheels if Mitch would have stayed in that marriage. If he would have said yes on decision day, she would have lost her mind. Mitch is what she wants. She wants all of Mitch. And she still wants Mitch. And this is the reason why she was so butthurt when when they were at the cookout and people were asking him, so is there any hope between you and Lindy? And he was like adamantly like, no. And I understand that why people would think that what Mitch says is confusing, but I've never been confused about Mitch. To me, Mitch has always made it, not always. I mean, there were moments where you felt like, okay, maybe this couple might decide to stay together. But I think when you put all the pieces together, Mitch wasn't going to choose her. He wasn't going to choose Kristen. The biggest red flag was when he took off his ring when he went to that damn conference. That was the biggest red flag of all. He went to a conference where he was going to be surrounded by his own people, his, environmentalist friends, his natural, like hoping that he would run into some natural, beachy, hippie women over there. And he took off his ring because he was trying to see something. He was trying to see if he could make a connection with somebody at that damn convention, with someone that he felt like he had more in common with. That's the reason why he took his, that was the biggest red flag of all. And no matter what he said after that or what he did after that, Kristen should have known that this man was not interested in being married. If you're going to take off your ring at your convention and you're telling her, and he told her that either there were some attractive beachy women, beachy hippie women there, or he was hoping that there would be some beachy, I don't know what he said, but he did mention that to her. And so, I don't know. I don't think he misled her. I think when he had told her that he didn't see a future with them, that he wanted to remain friends, but he really didn't see a future. He really didn't feel like there was ever going to be like a romantic. I thought he made himself clear. He has a way of talking that seems ambiguous, but I never once thought that after decision day, I never once thought that he was leading her on into believing that they could possibly be together. Now, before decision day, when they were still, trying to figure it all out, who knows what was going to happen? Who the hell knows? And then when they talked about him telling her at the honeymoon that he didn't find her attractive or he wasn't attracted to her, I understand that that is really hard for a woman to take. I totally get that. But I don't think that says anything about her. She really internalized that when he said that to her. She really, really internalized that. And after that, she constantly was trying to make herself feel better, by saying things like, oh, I'm a catch. I'm a catch. I bring everything to the table. She was like, you can tell that she was constantly trying to make herself feel better. And ever since he had told her that he didn't feel an attraction for her, she was constantly like needing his approval, like needing him to finally say, I am attracted to you. That just shows me that she had extremely low self-confidence. Because if he tells her, I'm just not attracted to you, that doesn't mean that you're not attractive. That just means that you're not his cup of tea, and you can't be everybody's cup of tea. I think Kristen is a bit much. I think she's one of those women that when she gets into a relationship, like by the second date, she's already picking out china for the wedding. That's the kind of person that Kristen strikes me as. She thinks that if she gets along with a man just the littlest bit, then, oh my God, we're meant to be. This is going to be my husband. Her eye is already on, weddings and wedding gowns and, all of that. When they get along, when her and her dude get along just the tiniest bit. She wanted Mitch. She wanted Mitch, and I think she still wants Mitch. But of course, you can't admit that, to the guy that rejected you. And I didn't see anything wrong with him saying, because I know the whole thing was, well, if you're not attracted to her, then why did you end up being intimate with her? Well, because she was pushing herself on him. If she would have left that man alone, I don't think, maybe there's a possibility, I don't know, I really don't know, but maybe they never would have been intimate. But she was constantly pushing herself on him. And then the fact that night when they did consummate their marriage, she was really like adamant about, I'm going to need physical attention. This is what I'm expecting from you. This is what I want from you. And then when they hooked up in the room, or when it was going that way, she says to Kevin Frazier, it was just going too fast. It was just going way too. I didn't expect all of that. I expected a little kissing, a little hugging, but I didn't expect it to go. But girl, you were so aggressive. She's like, she said, she talked about how, I was in my bikini and da 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 da, and we began kissing and hugging. And you kept telling him what you wanted from him, that you were expecting y'all to hook up. That's what you were expecting from him and nothing less. You were so aggressive with it. And then when he gives you what you want, all of a sudden, oh my God, it was just too much. What? So everybody has villainized Mitch, and they say that, he led her on, he was playing games with her. There was no way that Mitch was going to win. If he would have been distant, cold, trying to like not have fun with her, not have a good time with her, constantly grumpy or moody or upset that he has to spend time with her, he would have gotten villainized. Because he was having a good time with her, he was trying to make the best of it, he was trying to connect with her, he was still villainized for leading her on. I just don't understand. I don't get it. In general, it seems like Mitch rubbed everybody the wrong way, and I really don't know why. I don't think he was a villain. Could he have said things a little bit differently to her? Yeah, of course. With the whole thing about, her wanting to be, to go into real estate and flip homes, he crushed those dreams. He was like, he told her right off the bat, like, that's racist, that's gentrification, I don't agree with that, that's what's wrong with society today. Of course, he came on really strong with his ideologies. Yes, indeed. But as far as like playing with her emotions, I don't think he did. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe he did, but to me, it didn't seem like he was playing with her emotions. It seems like he was just trying to make the best of it, but he was trying to find a connection with her. And when it came down to make a decision, he just didn't have the feelings, and he wasn't going to say yes to her just to break up with her later. So I didn't see anything wrong with, I didn't see anything terribly wrong with how he handled the whole entire situation with Kristen. But Kristen, girl, you want Mitch, you wanted Mitch, you have always wanted Mitch. And if he would have said yes, you would have said yes as well. Who else? Okay, Morgan and Ben, whatever. Moving on. And I guess that brings us to Alexis and Justin. I think that brings us to Alexis and Justin. So Alexis and Justin, they get on the couch and they're not together. And Justin said that he broke up with her. She's like, no, that's not how it went down. They talked about, Kevin Frazier said something like, little birdie told me that y'all actually consummated y'all's marriage at the honeymoon. Which was way before when you actually admitted to consummating your marriage. And he was looking at Alexis, I guess, to spill the tea. And Alexis like, why are you looking at me? Girl, because you were involved. You were there. You're the one that can confirm or deny on whether or not this happened or it didn't. That's why we're looking at you, girl. And so Justin said that they did consummate their marriage on their honeymoon. He said that they did it on the first night and they did it on the third night. And I need to know what happened on the second night. What happened in between? And he said that I did tell her, or one of them said that Justin had told Alexis to not tell anyone that they consummated their marriage. And so they get into an argument about whether that was actually lying or not lying about the situation. I forgot what side either of them were on that argument. But I feel like the reason why Justin did not want Alexis to talk about it was because he knew that she wasn't going to say anything positive about it, that she was going to embarrass the hell out of him if she were to bring up what they did. And I think that's why he made her promise to not talk about it. But then he threatened to expose it when he got mad at her. But why would you feel like that would make her feel some kind of way about it when it wasn't even her that wanted to hide it? But anyways, so then they talked about what they actually did. So Alexis was like, well, we did some adult things, but it wasn't actually like real sex. And he was like, what are you talking about? Yes, it was. We had sex. And she was like, if that's what you want to call it. And he was like, there was full penetration and, we got our rocks off. So what are you talking about? And she was like, we did. And even Kevin Frazier kind of like had to look away because he was feeling that secondhand embarrassment for Justin, and so was I. And I was just like, Justin, my love, please stop while you're ahead. Please stop talking about this. And so they couldn't even agree on that, on whether or not they actually had sex. They could not even agree on that. They disagree and argue about every little thing. And and so then Justin was talking about how Alexis had reached out to him. She was drunk out of her mind, and she shows up at his house in the middle of the night, and Alexis completely denied it. I don't know who the hell to believe or what to believe, because Alexis is someone who cares a lot about, I feel like she cares a lot about her, how she comes across. She cares a lot about her appearance. Like, she's worried about what other people may think of her. And so she tries to act accordingly. And then Justin, I can't trust him because he thought Nate was hitting on him. So I can't trust anything that Justin says either. Maybe these two were made for each other because they don't know, they wouldn't know the truth if it ran them over. They would not know what the truth is. They would not be able to recognize what a truth is because they do so much lying to cover up stuff. I don't know what's going on with Alexis and Justin. So we didn't get to see their full story. It's going to continue hopefully in part 2. But I think Justin did not like how he came across to people. Obviously, I think and then he also was telling her, stop gaslighting him. Stop gaslighting me. He was telling her, that's the problem with you, Alexis, when she denied reaching out to him in a drunken state. He says, that's the problem with you, Alexis. You lie too much. You're always lying. And, or you never tell the truth. And, stop gaslighting me. And definitely, she was definitely doing a lot of gaslighting. But I think with Justin, to me, he kind of reminds me of Kristen. You meet someone, you get along a little bit, and already you're off to the races. You're planning your whole entire future with them, where y'all are going to be retiring together when y'all are in your old age. I mean, you're just jumping the gun completely. And I think with Justin, I don't know with Justin if he was actually like in love with Alexis, or was he just in love with the idea of being in love? And because of what he had been through relationship wise, he had really was he put all his eggs in one basket with her. He was like, okay, this is it, because I don't even have to worry about whether or not this person's going to spend the rest of their life with me, because we're going to be already married. As soon as we meet, we're going to be getting married. So I'm already there at the finish line. I'm already where I've always wanted to be, which is married and committed. And even that didn't work out for him. So I don't know if he's brokenhearted, because he just seems, maybe this is the Justin maybe this is who he really is, because I feel like the Justin that we met at the wedding and the beginning of the honeymoon was a completely different Justin when they got back from the honeymoon. Like, completely two different people. That's how I've seen him. Before the honeymoon and up to the honeymoon, he was happy-go-lucky, cracking jokes, getting along with everybody. And here we are now. He doesn't talk to nobody. He's blocking people. He's unfollowing the entire cast. He's wanting to start fights. He's accusing Nate of coming on to him. Completely different person. And I just don't know which one is a real Justin. Completely different person. But part 1 was fine. Part 1 was good. It was a little bit too much Miguel and Lindy. I'm not exactly sure why we're even talking to Morgan and Ben. But I guess we have 2 hours to fill. So yeah, it was okay. It was good. It was fine. I think this was probably. Oh, Stasha and Nate. Wait a minute. Stasha and Nate. Okay, Stasha and Nate. Stasha, you're doing the most. I need you to calm down. I need you to take it down about 50 notches. You're doing the absolute most. You need to accept if you want to stay in this marriage, you're gonna have to accept Nate for who he is. And I don't see anything, like abysmally wrong with Nate. I think he is young. I think he has a lot of growing to do. He has a lot of, he's still kind of coming into his own. But I don't see anything, like inherently wrong with Nate. I think that Nate is trying, I think he's listening to her, and I think that he's trying to do his best. But some things are just not going to be very natural for him. Like when she was talking about how I want to have, deep, thought provoking conversations consistently or constantly. No, nobody wants that. Who the hell wants to do that, Stasha? Who wants to have thought provoking conversations all the damn time? I mean, that went out with Shakespeare. You know what I mean? If you want thought provoking conversations, you should have gotten, girl, you should have gotten a much older man. You should have gotten somebody who's extremely old school. And even that, I don't know if he would have lucked out. People like Nate, half their lives are probably spent in front of a screen playing video games. And the only language they know how to talk is text. So I don't know why you're thinking that you're going to get some profound intellectual thinker. Go hang out on the campus of Harvard or Yale and try to hook up with the professor over there if that's what you're expecting. Um, but your average guy, your average 30-something-year-old guy, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but girl, please. So I think with Stasha, she has in her mind this image of the man that she feels like is worthy of her. And she's going to, whoever she's with, she's going to mold into that vision instead of just accepting him for who he is. Nate said that he realizes that his wife wants a lot of attention, so he's learning to give that to her. She talked about how she needs to learn how to give up some control. And she said, it must be really hard to live with Stasha. And she was talking about how, sometimes I catch myself, like I tell him that I want him to do more, but then when he does more, I complain that he's doing too much and I want to just take over. And it's like, yeah, Stasha, I'm glad you realize that, and I'm glad that you're working on that, because that's a really ugly trait to have, because you're making it very difficult for people to want to be around you if that's how you are. Nate says that she doesn't appreciate the things that he has done for her. He like something about, I don't know what the question was. I'm assuming the question was, so has he changed or does he do more? Have you noticed him improving? Is he doing more for the benefit of the relationship? And I guess her answer was very nonchalant, like, yeah, I guess he has. And he's like, hold up, wait a minute, back it up. Remember when I did this, when I did that? That was me really trying to impress you, really trying to make you happy. And then she goes, well, those are the things that you like to do. But I went ahead and did them because you enjoy them and I want to spend time with you. And I'm just like, okay, girl. They do live together, but they split their time between her house and his apartment. And I guess he doesn't want to give up his apartment because he's got 8 months left on his lease. And he doesn't want to break that lease because I'm pretty sure he doesn't know where this is going, this relationship. And so he wants to make sure that he's got somewhere to go in case this doesn't work out. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. So that's cool. That's smart of him. And, she does give him credit for communicating. And I think that's the most important thing. If y'all can communicate, and I loved how she said in the last, I think it was like the last episode, how she said, when we have our disagreement, we can come back together. That is so important. I cannot stress that enough. That is so important because you don't want to have arguments that just fester for days. You know, y'all just don't talk to each other, or y'all are very cold towards one another because you had an argument. You want to be able to have the argument and then come back. But anyways, so it seems like, you know, she's not really appreciating the things that he's done so far, and she's got this very high expectation. And I don't think any human man right now in this day and age can live up to that. He says that she's constantly moving the target, so he can never win with her. And that says a lot. The problems that they have are deep and profound. And I just don't know, because I see Nate trying and I see her trying as well. But she really needs to let go of this vision of what she thinks is a perfect relationship and of what she thinks is a perfect man for her. Not necessarily a perfect man, but the kind of man that she feels like she's worthy of, because that kind of guy may not exist. I really feel like she's just trying to mold him and change him into what, you know, this preconceived notion of what the perfect husband is for her. When it comes to children, she wants to have them like next year. He says he wants to wait because he's not sure where this is going. So he doesn't want to bring children into this situation when he's not really sure if he's even going to stick around. So I'm rooting for them. I want them to work out, but they have a lot of issues. They look great together. They looked beautiful at the reunion. Both of them did. He got rid of his braids, and I think he looks a whole lot more mature now, more to her liking. I'm pretty sure she probably told him to cut his hair. And let's go back to Justin and Alexis. Justin thinking that Nate is coming on to him. I wonder how much of that is Alexis putting that in his ear. I think Alexis feels like she got the short end of the stick when she looks around and see everybody else's husbands. I think Alexis feels like she got the short end of the stick with Justin. And I think that she probably wanted it to go back to Stasha that Nate was coming on to Justin. I think she wanted Stasha to know that, and she wanted Stasha to hear that. Because I feel like maybe Alexis is jealous that for the most part, everybody was somewhat satisfied except for Morgan and except for Morgan. Everybody was pretty much satisfied with their husbands. I don't think she ever was really satisfied with Justin. And I think she felt jealous that she didn't have the kind of guy that she wanted to really fight for, like the way the other wives were trying to fight for their husbands and trying to fight for their relationships. And maybe she was looking at Nate. I don't know. I'm not saying nothing, but it's just really strange to me that Justin would think that Nate was coming on to him. I have a feeling that Alexis was all up in his ear like, oh, why does he keep talking about how beautiful your skin is and talking about how great your teeth are? Like, what's wrong with him? Does he want you or something? I'm pretty sure she put that bug in his ear. I'm pretty damn sure, because when he was saying that, she just sat there. She was just sitting there. When Justin was like, and you were coming on to me and you made it pass at me, she was just sitting there. She wasn't like, what? She was just sitting there. That's my opinion. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please do not forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.